Good evening, I'm Miss Terrell. So I'm here to talk to you about the IEP process. And to start, the school goes through a tiered process. And there's Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1, all the students are getting the same level of supports. And if that's not working, they'll go up a tier to Tier 2, where there'll be more supports in place for them. And if those supports still aren't meeting their needs, then we'll get to Tier 3. And Tier 3, you'll start to talk about special education services and implementing more accommodations, modifications, and getting an individualized education plan or an IEP. So in order for that to start, the classroom teacher is going to make sure that they have concrete data and they are observing your child and showing the data of them maybe not meeting the grade level expectations yet. And that's with those Tier 2 supports. So in order for that to start, the teacher is going to write a referral and your child will go through an evaluation. But before that can happen, they'll come to you. You were constantly a part of this process. So in order for them to even be evaluated, they will come to you. They will ask for your consent. It could be academic testing, psychological testing. It could even be for related services. So maybe OT eval, occupational therapy, physical therapy, a speech language evaluation. So all of those, before that can happen, we will come to you. And then we will get the results of those evaluations. Once those evaluations all come into play, then we will all come together, everyone that's a part of now your child's school experience in special education, the general education teacher, special education teacher, the school psychologist, the CSE chairperson. You guys will all sit together and put our heads together, go over your child's results, and from that point on, we will talk about their eligibility. So in order for them to be eligible, they will need to show some major discrepancies and regression compared to the average student. So there are multiple categories of disabilities that your child could be eligible for, depending on what we see in the classroom, what we've observed, what accommodations might work for them that we've already implemented. So if your child is eligible, they will be classified, and then we will start to come together again and go over their IEP and what we need to put in their IEP. So some of the most important components of the IEP are their PLEPs, which are their present levels of performance. So you might see a PLEP for reading, writing, math. There's also social PLEPs. How are they doing socially? And there's physical. So if there's any physical things that we need to keep track of. How are they socializing with their peers? How are they socializing with their adults? Are they socializing at all? Are they able to regulate their emotions? So we'll go through all of that. And in the PLEPs, we'll talk about what they're able to do academically and things that they need to continue to work on. More on the IEP, there are measurable goals that we will provide your child to hopefully accomplish by their annual review. And there are different programs. Each district may have different programs that your child is able to be a part of. That is the least restrictive environment for them. There's related services. Will they get OT, PT, or speech? As well as accommodations and modifications that we will be providing them on a day-to-day basis. In order for any of this IEP process to happen, there has to be parent involvement. You will be provided all of the information as it comes. And there will be a constant communication line between you and the special education teacher, the general education teacher, and you could even continue talking and getting support through a CSE chairperson. If your student's receiving counseling and you want to get updates on how they're doing, you can reach out to a counselor. As a special education teacher, it is very important for us to provide you and be completely open with everything going on with your child. How they're doing, if they're regressing, if they're making a ton of progress, which would be so exciting. We'll share their achievements with you. But the most important thing is confidentiality with us. We are required to keep your child's information private. In order to help your child receive all of their accommodations and modifications, your IEP may be shared with their service providers or their general education teachers. But again, they will be exposed to it so that they can continue getting those services. But the IEP remains with the special education teacher in a safe place. I hope that I've covered a lot of it, and I just want to finish by saying you are always involved in this process.